If you are a business owner, let me ask you this. Do you truly know what you want? Have you ever sat down and designed the life and business you actually want to build? Or are you just chasing something without a clear direction? What if I told you that the biggest problems holding business owners back today aren't external, they are happening inside their own mind? Today we are breaking down these 3 hidden internal roadblocks and how you can overcome them with none other than mindset expert and NLP master trainer Alex Taylor Morgan. Let's dive in. Hello, Alex.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you, Alex, for coming to this episode of your Marketing Growth Guide.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to it.
I'm honored to have you here. You are an excellent NLP coach and hypnotist, and we'll talk about all this. But before we start, if you are a business owner, then this is a fantastic episode for you. We're going to talk about some main internal roadblocks that people have that cause problems in taking proper decisions. Sometimes what we miss in our business is a clear direction, where we want to go, why we want to go there. And there are a lot of things going on in the mind that cause problems. And the biggest problems are internal, not external. They have to do with how our mind works. And that's the reason that today I have with me Alex, who is an NLP master trainer and hypnotist. Alex, you have also written books about all these things, how the mind works, and you have helped a lot of business owners and high executives in order to take better decisions. Is that so?
I work with a lot of business owners, and sometimes we have to work on a lot of things inside of themselves for them to actually have the success they want in business. So I would agree with that.
Okay, for those who don't know you, can you give a quick introduction about yourself, what you do professionally?
Yeah, so I'm originally from California. I'm here in Greece now since late 2020, let's say. Professionally, I help different business owners mostly work on what they need to change on the inside so that they can have success in all different areas of life, not only business, also in relationships, their own personal growth, abundance, things like this. So this is usually what I focus on because we all have all the resources we need inside. A lot of times we just delete them and don't know how to find them again.
It's very interesting that you mentioned about personal life, because all these things are interconnected. If our personal life isn't well, our professional life will also be influenced. I think it's something very common, and I believe that you have seen this a lot of times.
Yeah, that's correct. If you think about it, most of the things that we do is a good way to think about it. Most of the things that we do, about 99% of them, they're all automated. So let's say someone wants to be successful at business. They probably need to be successful about a lot of things that they should have learned earlier in life, like how to have a relationship with themselves, how to have a relationship with others, how to have, work in a team, lead a team, do all these things, which means they have to know how to lead themselves. But if they haven't actually automated this process and these types of relationships, then if that's chaotic, then their business may be chaotic too. So unless all these things are automated and kind of working together, truly we may never get what we want.
Alex, what was the reason that you started dealing with all these nice things about how the mind works, and you became a professional NLP master trainer and also a hypnotist?
Yeah, so back in 2017 is when I started really diving into all of this. I started with reading books. That was a natural first step for me. The reason I did do this is because I started to, feel some pain inside from, financial decisions that I had made, about personal relationships. And I had done, therapy and other things before. I'm all for, everyone needs to find what works for them. And so once I kind of found, hypnosis, I actually knew someone who got trained in hypnosis, and they said, you should go. I think you will like it. So once I went, and once I liked it and I saw that I could get rid of my own pain, my own anxiety, my own struggles. I didn't have to suffer anymore. I found that I had a lot more choices to do things. So that's truly why I like to, share it with other people, because in my opinion, it works, it's effective, and the more people that know about it, the better place this world is.
So you had some problems yourself and you used these nice tools, you found them effective, and then wanted to share this with other people.
Yeah, pretty much. And so that's why I work with clients. That's why I also teach people how to do this if they want to become certified and everything as well, because if we can update everything inside of us, then we can also then influence many people in our environment to do the same thing. So, and then once they do that, it starts compounding and everything just gets better and better.
Perfect. So let's talk about the first internal roadblock someone has in his business, let's say, a decision-making process. We're talking about 3 problems today.
Yeah, 3 problems, main ones.
3 common problems that business owners have, or decision makers, for example, CEOs or COOs. Okay, what do you believe is the most common problem?
I think the first one is a lot of people, they have the problem of not focusing on what they want, or they haven't designed what they want. So, for example, if someone has some sort of worry, some sort of doubt, some sort of fear or anxiety, they're having this because they're not spending time focusing on what they actually want. And with a lot of people who run a business, there's really no excuse for them to not know what they want or to not have designed what they want. And when I'm talking design, I'm talking about, your ideal client. Like, do you know the attributes of all these? The people that you want to hire? Do you know exactly what type of people you want to hire that are going to fit into your company culture? So you want to design, it's not just, money and things like this. It's also designing your immediate environment, the people you spend time with, the people that you're going to network with, the people that are going to help you succeed, and how you're going to provide value to them and receive it back. So you need to kind of precisely design all of these things. So this is probably the main thing that people struggle with that I've seen.
Maybe one of the reasons is that we try to avoid pain, and this is our main incentive. Avoid pain, and secondarily to gain pleasure. So when someone wants to avoid pain, thinks about all the things that he doesn't want or she doesn't want. And when you focus on what you don't want, you attract more of it.
Yeah, there's a few things I would say. It all goes back to what I said too. Like, there's no excuse to not know what you want. If you think about it, like a TV screen or something, it has, or computer monitor, it has pixels, right, that kind of make up the clear screen. But if all those pixels didn't come together, it would essentially be like a blurred image, and you wouldn't know what it is. You wouldn't be clear on all of this. So people need to be curious. They need to have a willingness to want to learn and experiment, and they need to take action by immersing themselves in things that they actually want. And this could literally be with anything. Just a few months ago, I started playing billiards again, for example, and it's like a whole new world opened up for me again, like the angles of different shots and all this. And I started creating like new pixels in my mind of how this started getting put together in a clear picture. So if someone wants something in business, they need to be immersing themselves some way in that. That could even be as simple as researching something online that they don't know nothing about, that they really want to learn about. If you don't do that though, then you'll just keep having the same excuse that you don't know what you want, and really there's no need to have that excuse.
Another way of immersing could be going to conferences, seminars, networking events, maybe business travel, going abroad. All these things, I believe that can have a very positive impact.
Yeah, these are all going to show people that they have choices, that they have opportunities and possibilities. Because if you're going to a conference, you're going to be around people who probably are interested in what you're doing. So it's going to be easy to build rapport, build connections. You know, people who are like each other, typically they like each other. So it's going to be easy to immerse yourself in this. And this is, another great way is, you know, meeting people or simply talking to, let's say you want something and you're not sure how to get it. Talk to someone who has it. They will tell you what to do. And this will create more pixels for you to create that clear screen so you know exactly what to do. That's another thing. So that goes in with the conferences. Probably there's someone there who knows exactly what you need to do to get it.
I like the word that you use, pixels. So more clarity, better, let's say, definition of the image, of the vision, what you want exactly, and maybe what you don't want. Sometimes if you don't know what you want, it's better to start with thinking about what you don't want and then going to the opposite.
Yeah, this is why I think, especially in business or in personal relationships, even if we try something and it doesn't work out exactly how we wanted it to work out, this is all valuable feedback that is going to then help us get more pixels, let's say. So, you know, let's say you hire some people, it didn't work out. You're going to know exactly what you do not want probably next time, why that didn't work out. It's not even going to be a criteria for you. So then when you go to design it next time, you'll know that you want totally different things. Maybe. And this is also with friends, with colleagues, with personal relationships. You have to go through some things and you have to try different things out, and you have to like immerse yourself with this to truly know, hey, I don't want this and I want this. This is how we learn. And the reason this works so well is because we're using the unconscious mind where all learning takes place. So then we have all this, it's like a big storage bin. We have
elaborate more and maybe share some tricks, an NLP technique.
Yeah. So the good thing is once you have all these pixels, let's say the unconscious mind, it's storing all this. It's like data. So many things that we do, probably 99% of them are automatic. Brushing our teeth, we get up, we do all these things. So if we're not using this and it's not automatic, then chances are it's going to be harder to get what I want. So a lot of times when people don't know, they're thinking of their problems, like you said. So they need to find out first if that's the real problem. Sometimes, so if someone has a problem, they're just like, oh, I'm just tired all the time. Chances are if they solve that, great, they'll have some energy. However, maybe there's limiting beliefs underneath that. So they need to ask themselves when they have that first problem and they're thinking of it, how's that a problem? And then they'll answer something else. Then how's that a problem again, until they get to a nice, probably common limiting belief like, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve it, I can't be loved, I can't make enough money. So a lot of times we're dealing with problems on the surface where you can use these little questions to get to the root of the problem. And then you can, once you know that, you can think, well, what can I learn from this problem to resolve it completely now? And you allow your unconscious mind to come up with the answers. You don't need to consciously think about it because your unconscious mind has that data, like I said. And then you ask, what can I do instead? Or what do I want to feel instead? And this then kind of rewires everything. So then you're going after what you want. So using just this simple process can get you focusing on something that you don't want at all, to then focused on the main goal, and you'll know exactly what you want instead, or what you want to feel instead.
This is a very powerful technique. Thank you for sharing. Shall we move on to the second problem that business owners have?
Yeah, let's go for it.
There's another internal roadblock that we talked about recently, which is that people, they don't know who they are, their personal identity, and also their identity in their business.
Yeah, so this, you can unpack this a few different ways. And one of the things that I look with this is a lot of people, they don't know a lot of that data in the unconscious mind. They don't know how to decipher certain things. So if they don't know who they are, they don't necessarily know how they're truly motivated. You were kind of talking about, hey, people might go towards pain or, pleasure. So it's good to know these things. If we don't know how we're motivated, then how are we going to continuously have like endless amounts of motivation? If we don't know like our values and what's truly important to us as a person, or what's truly important to us in a business, if you don't know what's going to motivate you in your business and your team, let's say, doesn't know that either, it's probably going to be more difficult to get what you want. So this is also with beliefs too, like that exercise I just kind of did. How's that a problem? A lot of people, they're not even aware of the beliefs and things that are limiting them. And if they were, and they knew how to solve them, then chances are people wouldn't have internal roadblocks. They wouldn't have problems if they truly know who you are. If you know who you are, you're listening and you know who you are, I mean, chances are things are probably going pretty well for you.
How can someone find his, her identity?
I would start with truly focusing on like what's important to you as a person. This is one of the things that I do, and I do it every so often because things also change. So we have to also accept that our identity as a person, and the more we learn, the more we grow, it's going to change over time. So in order to do that, you have to continuously know what's important to you, and you have to be willing to put that effort on the inside over and over. I think if you have a problem that comes up, you have to be willing to resolve it, I think, right then and there. And that clears everything out. So then you have more clarity to do what it is that you want to do.
For example, personally for me, it is very important to grow as a person, as a soul all the time. And I love helping other people grow. And that's the reason that I adopted the identity, I chose the identity, Your Growth Guide. I had to dig very deep into my soul to find this identity. And there's no obligation to choose something and stay there forever. It's your free choice. You can choose an identity, and as you said before, a few years later, maybe change it or make it more specific.
Okay. Yeah, the only constant thing I think is change. Things are always going to change. And the good thing is with your identity, let's say that this was created. And I think the thing with growth is when we're helping people grow, we're often faced with problems maybe that we used to have, or something that we're going through, or something that we haven't even considered yet in the future. So then we get to face this, help someone change, and change ourselves at the same time. So it's growth for everyone. Everyone's benefiting.
Yeah, exactly. Are there any signs that someone is disconnected from his own identity?
I would say, earlier you kind of were talking about taking decisions. So I think if someone is taking a long time to make decisions, they probably have some sort of inner conflict. So this probably is one way that people would know. And I would say for them to know that, they can pay attention to a lot of their language. They may be saying something like, oh, on one hand, I want this. On the other hand, I want this. Or sometimes I'm doing this. Sometimes I prefer this. Or part of the time I want that. Or part of the time I want something else. So they have this constant inner conflict. And we already have, I think, enough fragments as people. So we need to find a way to integrate that through knowing what our purpose is, or what's the highest positive intention of what we're actually doing. You can kind of ask yourself these questions. And for business owners, a lot of this internal conflict, a common one, is freedom and responsibility. So they want all the freedom of having their own business, yet once they have it, they start to like scratch their head and they're like, oh, it feels like I have so many responsibilities now. Mm-hmm. I started this business though because I wanted freedom. If you think about it though, responsibility is just having the ability to respond. So you can have freedom once you choose the responses that are going to be correct, and getting the right people around you, and knowing who you are, and designing and focusing on what you want. So I would say this is a way of thinking about it.
Let's say that someone doesn't know exactly what identity he wants to adopt, to choose. Can NLP or timeline therapy or hypnosis help?
Yeah,
Mhm.
all of these can. I would say there's a lot of different things to do. Timeline therapy, for example, one of them, because in this specific technique, we get to the root cause of the issue. We find out with the unconscious mind, hey, what's the first time you felt that fear? And then, what can you learn from that fear? So you can, really let go of it. So this is one way to do it. And through the simple technique, you reprogram the mind. So with the learnings that you get, you build a whole new way of thinking through letting go of a negative emotion. It doesn't mean that whatever happened to you in the past isn't there anymore. It just means you have a different emotional charge to all of these significant emotional events that may have happened in your reality. So why not change the meaning of all of those, so then you can also change the meaning of your future?
Do you have any personal story where someone discovered who they are and then changed their business or their life in total?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people. I've worked with people for different things, with business and without. One particular person, what a lot of people do in business especially is they have this way of thinking that, they have to hustle, they have to grind, they have to be busy.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is usually when people are busy, they are kind of not willing to deal with everything inside of them. So they know they have problems, maybe. They know they have things to deal with. They know that their business could be better, their relationships to be better. Instead of, let's say, dealing with that, instead they may just keep staying busy. And so they make the kind of excuse of keeping busy instead of doing something. So I've worked with people who, when I first talk to them, they say this: I'm busy, I don't even know if I have time for this. I'm like, well, you signed up for the coaching, like, you're here, let's make the most out of it. And once they kind of let go and decide, hey, you know what, I just have to surrender to the process through building trust and rapport and all these, then they start to, everything can change. They may get a new house. They may have a better relationship with their wife or husband. So everything their business is better. Their employees are getting along better. So this is typically what happens, in a common example that I've seen a lot.
So one of the things that happen is that you create space for these people in order to think deeper and find the answers that they already have.
Yeah, because our mind, a lot of times it deletes things. So it may be deleting skills that you have. It may be deleting resources that you can use towards certain things. It may be deleting certain thinking or certain people that can help you. So if you can find out through hypnosis, NLP, timeline therapy, what it is that you're deleting, and you can find out how to connect to that again, because we were all born limitless. When we wanted milk as a child, we just went for it and grabbed it. Nothing could stop us. And over time, we were taught some limitations. However, now that you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure that means that you want to, do something about it. You want to be limitless again. So then you need to go inside, connect to those resources that are always there and always were there, and use them. Because if you think about it, a belief is like installing a program, like you're plugging something into the wall. Yet that program's always there from the time you're born. And then once you start to doubt yourself, it's like you rip it out. You take the cord out of the wall, and then there's nothing there. There's no power that you have anymore. So once you find that out, you take your personal power back, and you start to create your ideal future, potentially.
Yeah, and that's magical. Alex, let's continue to the next roadblock and the final one for today, which is lack of consideration. you say that people haven't considered things. They haven't considered things yet.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah. So one of the founders of NLP, Richard Bandler, he said that people aren't limited by what they want to do and cannot do. We're actually limited by the things that we haven't considered yet. So if you're listening, you can take that at any way that you want. So a lot of times we think, oh, I can do something, but I can't. When really what's limiting us is the things that aren't even in our awareness yet. So if we can spend time considering new things, it kind of goes back to getting some of those pixels, immersing ourselves in different situations, like you said, with the conferences, with the networking events. If you never take a chance, how are you even going to consider who you could connect with there if you never even consider it? So this is kind of one common example that I would say where consideration, it's much more important. The other two internal roadblocks that we mentioned, people have probably heard of them and thought about them more. And this one is more, hey, what are you talking about? What do you mean consider? And it's like, no, we have to consider all options, all possibilities, all opportunities. And unless we put ourselves out there and go into new situations and want to create change, it's going to be hard to actually find them.
So question could be, is there another way? Is that a powerful question?
Yeah, there's always another way to do something, or you can just think, yeah, is there another way? What would happen if I did do this? What would happen if I didn't do it? This will show you like, hey, what's the consequences of doing this or not? So these are all good questions. And this all goes back to, like I mentioned earlier, being curious. If we're not curious, then we're never going to gather that data that's in the unconscious mind and actually utilize it to get what we want. If we are curious, and I'm sure if you're, anyone who's listening, I'm sure they're an intelligent person. So they would know how to get curious and find out and ask different questions. So it's good that we brought up certain questions, and these are a few more to use as well.
Alex, is there a framework that people can use to think ahead more strategically?
Yeah, they can. There's a few. The three questions that I mentioned earlier, finding out when you created the problem, finding the root of it, what you can learn from it, and then what you want to do and feel instead. This is one way to do it. The other way is just to, at the end of the day, or, not necessarily when you get in bed or anything like this, is you can kind of just think back on the day and kind of clear out the things that happen that you would second guess normally. And you can think, okay, that happened. What can I learn from that? And the cleaner you kind of keep your internal timeline, I would say, then the future is going to be much clearer. So then when you actually think about the future, it's not going to be being held back from things from the past. Because if you actually think about it, all the moments that we're usually thinking and projecting out in the future, it's almost like the future creates the now. So we're thinking about the future. However, that future that we're thinking about is going to create what we want to do right now.
In order to get there.
Yeah.
Can NLP help in better decisions, strategic decisions?
Yes, definitely. There's kind of what I was bringing up earlier with the, if we have that internal conflict, this can definitely help with it, because a lot of times we think we have a big problem and we can't decide. Yet if we can integrate and show, usually there's a specific technique that we do where, let's say, there's a decision on each hand or whatever it is, we can show that those have the same highest purpose. If we can chunk up out of the details, because usually when we have too many details, then we start kind of nitpicking at different things and we can't decide because we're like, okay, now this. And so we think of all these little different conflicts. But if we can think about, hey, what's the highest intention of doing this, or what purpose should we really do this? Chances are that's something that you would totally want to do, like freedom, like I mentioned earlier, or love or joy or abundance. If you knew that that was the highest intention, you would not need to even take decisions. It would be more automatic for you. And, success loves speed. So the quicker we make decisions, the quicker we take action, the quicker we can get what we want. So that's a way to do it.
So you can stop this inner conflict by finding this common ground between these, let's say, thought programs or sub-personalities or fragments.
Yeah, it's almost like you're doing a negotiation between them. Because what are you doing in a negotiation in business? You're trying to find out what the other person wants, like what's their purpose for being there and what's your purpose for being there. So if you can align both of your purposes for being there in the negotiation and then go back down and just chunk down into a few details, as long as people get a few details that they want, you're probably going to be good to go and end the negotiation. So that's how it would look in business, but in personal life, yes, just what you mentioned, that's exactly how it would work, because we're already, pretty fragmented and we have different parts and different things. But if we think about it, it's easier to make decisions and all of that when we're more whole and integrated, in my opinion.
Alex, if someone has a big goal, an important goal, and they have a lack of consideration, what can they do practically in order to get over it?
Yeah, this is a really good question, because it's also goes off of something that you brought up earlier too, which is pain and pleasure. Now, a lot of people with their goals, or a lot of people with success, they think that they have to have some sort of pain to get there. In fact, you can actually make your goals a really pleasurable experience. So the reason this works is because you set the goal with the conscious mind. You're thinking of your goal, what you want, you're specific about it. When you want to achieve it, you have that date, what you want to feel, all these wonderful things. You might hold a picture in your mind. However, to give your unconscious mind that pleasure, that experience, let's say you have a big, huge, ambitious goal. And even if you told someone, they might think you're crazy. Oh, you'll never get that. One of the things that I found that it's really good for people is if they insert a goal or a reward with their goal. So if someone has a goal, a big goal, and they achieve a big goal, they need to have a reward already attached to that. So when they achieve it, not only are they going to be excited and motivated about the goal, they're then going to be excited and motivated about the reward. And so the reward for them, it has them also considering something else that they may not have bought for themselves, that they may not have experienced if they weren't actually thinking for the reward. This can be something as simple as taking yourself out to your favorite restaurant when you achieve an important goal. Or let's say your goal is huge. You might be able to reward yourself with buying a house. You might be able to buy yourself a car. I mean, I know people that they started rewarding themselves by buying sushi. And now the guy's buying luxury cars. So this shows your mind, if I do the goal, then I deserve that. And hey, if I got the sushi, then I can set a new goal. And if I set a new goal and achieve it, then I deserve more and more and more. So it's not about necessarily being like materialistic or anything like this. It's showing yourself that, hey, there's things out there that you haven't considered yet. And it's also getting rid of that common limiting belief of I don't deserve it. We're showing our mind that we do deserve it. We're here to deserve a lot more than we probably think we're capable of. So this is a cool thing to do.
Alex, now that we know about these three major common internal roadblocks, what would the next step be in order for someone to get over all these internal roadblocks?
I'd say the next step is to, confront any of the internal roadblocks. Don't stay busy. Don't think that you have to be busy. Start putting in the work. Now, the good thing about this is we're putting all the work up here. We're putting all the effort in our mind, and the more we put effort in our mind, the less then we have to put in the physical. So the more you go through those 3 questions that I mentioned earlier, that's going to have you make like a head-on collision with your roadblock, and you're going to be able to start solving it. So the first step is to put effort in your mind, and you may find in the coming days, in the coming weeks, there's going to be things that start to change and you probably start to consider things that you hadn't considered yet, and you start to think more. It would almost be like, let's say there was a bunch of rooms that you could go into, and in order to get into the next room, you had to outthink like your old self or other people in those other rooms. So if that was the case and the only way you could get to the next room, then yeah, you would put effort in your mind and you would go and figure it out. I'm sure you would. So that's what I've noticed. A lot of people who get into these types of things are really intelligent people. And I'm sure if you're listening, you are, and you would want to continuously outthink. So the next step then is to, kind of get to work, but put the effort in your mind is how you get to work. And I'm not saying that you have to, do some hard work and you have to get out there and do so many things. It's putting effort in the right place.
Personally, I like journaling and writing my thoughts down and emotions and my thoughts about my emotions and thinking about ways to cope with them.
Yeah, this is really good too. Even I've done some group coaching, for example, with those 3 questions. When did I decide to, create this decision, this limiting decision, this limiting belief, this negative emotion? What can I learn from this? What can I do instead? And when I do these group coaching, people do also, they write out these answers because it's almost like it reinforces something to that. It makes it more real almost that they're doing it. So yeah, writing out your thoughts and just emptying out. I mean, writing in general, writing on a physical paper with pen or pencil, it's, it has many ways of kind of healing your thoughts and your emotions. And because you're using all that creativity that you maybe haven't used before. So yeah, this is really good too.
Alex, thank you for sharing all this knowledge, all these tips. How can someone get in contact with you? Do you have a website, a YouTube channel, TikTok, something?
Yep. So through YouTube, that's where I post a lot of content. It's my favorite place to create content, so that's why I use it. The channel is called Create Your Ideal Future. So I post on there daily audios that have to do with a lot of the stuff that we're talking about here, with kind of aligning yourself, designing stuff, and then resolving things in the way. If you want to go to my website, it's athensnlp.com. So you can, see what I offer there, any trainings, private coaching, and, just reach out to the email on there, alex@athensnlp, or give me a call at the phone number that's listed, and we can discuss, if we're good to work together and all of this, because I like to kind of help the right people and, see how invested they are, because I put everything into it as well. So.
And you've written some books. You've written The Power of Suggestion.
Yeah, I have a series of books, The Transformative Power of Suggestion. It talks about all kinds of different suggestions, ways that you can influence your own mind and the mind of other people. And this isn't something just through, let's say, formal hypnosis. This is something that you can do in everyday conversations. And maybe during this, I've been using some of these things as I'm talking. If you've noticed,
maybe other people use these things.
Yes, a lot of people are using this, and there's so many ways that we can embed suggestions into everyday conversations so people can get what they want. Do it with the best intentions, so other people are winning, because if other people are achieving things, then so are you. So yeah, I have that series of book, Transformative Power of Suggestion, Transformative Power of NLP, and The Transformative Power of Hypnosis is my newest book. So that one goes more into the formal hypnosis and takes you how to do a whole...
They are available...
Amazon. Yeah, Amazon worldwide.
Perfect. Alex, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a really good discussion. I hope everyone's learned a lot, and start making really good, fast, quick decisions. It'll really help you out.
Thank you.